Birth is a fascinating and incomparable event, both in animals and in humans. But some births do not go as expected, as also seen in today's story. The incredible scenes took place on an Australian cattle ranch in May last year. David and Julie Ingram were experienced ranchers who had established themselves in their area of Boning, East Gippsland. The farm was very successful and an integral part of the neighborhood. They had a great knowledge of cattle, and neighboring farms were fortunate to have such experienced people around. The couple mainly helped with the birth of new cattle. They were often called upon to help with other animal births in East Gippsland, and the year went very well with successful births throughout the region. David and Julie were particularly lucky to have already successfully given birth to 8 calves on their own farm. When David learned that another purebred Hereford cow was pregnant, he was thrilled. David and Julie began the typical preparations for a pregnant cow. They monitored her closely, paying special attention to her well-being and health. In the beginning, all the cattle lived together in the main barn of the farm, where several generations of cows lived. However, after a few days, Julie noticed that she was acting a little more sluggishly than usual, as she ate less and seemed unwell. So the cow was taken out of the big barn to have some alone time and rest while she waited to give birth to her baby. There was a smaller barn near the farm where they could house the pregnant cow, and here the cow could prepare for her birth undisturbed. She was given plenty of fresh water and food and seemed comfortable in her new place. So the pregnancy got off to a good start. But after a few weeks the tide should turn. The cow started eating large amounts of food every day, and had also grown considerably since moving to the smaller stable. Had the couple been new to farming, they might have panicked at the rapid changes in their cow, but luckily, David and Julie were very experienced and they immediately suspected what might be causing her unusual appetite and weight gain. Given her size and her disposition, Julie began to suspect that she was pregnant with twins. It's not necessarily uncommon for cows to give birth to twins, however, it is also not very common. The probability of such an event is about 2%. But this fact was far from being the unusual thing about this birth. What was to follow later would not leave the experienced farm owners indifferent. But initially, the two suspected nothing of all this, and went about their routine. The couple was convinced that with their many years of experience they were well equipped to master this task and to accompany the cow confidently until birth. Time passed and the cow's belly continued to grow, and finally the time came for the birth. After 8 months, David and Julie watched the cow closely. David thought it wise to start looking for signs of early labor a month earlier, because if the cow was having twins, there was a good chance that the birth would take place earlier. Not long after David and Julie began watching the cows so closely, they saw the signs they were looking for, indicating that labor was starting. The neighbors, who lived several fields away, were able to hear the events of that fateful Australian night. The birth was long and difficult. After some time the first calf was ready to see the light of day. David helped lead the animal out with his gloved hands while Julie concentrated on making the mother as comfortable as possible. The couple screamed with delight as they saw a healthy calf gently held in David's hands. Julie took the baby to clean him and offered him something to drink. David stayed with the mother cow, cleaned her up a bit and commended her for her efforts so far, and he got ready for another calf. Julie returned a few minutes later, just as David was wondering aloud if they were wrong about the twins. Maybe it was just a difficult pregnancy that had increased her appetite more than usual. Julie sat down next to David to help him with his reasoning, when they were interrupted by a scream from the cow. Just when they thought their job was done, another baby seemed ready to enter the world. David felt tears welling up in his eyes, and Julie laughed lightly at his sentimentality. David and Julie quickly returned to their seats, with David in the back and Julie by the cow's head. After a few minutes of pressing, another calf was born. "Well done," Julie complimented the cow, and David brought the baby up for the cow to see. What an absolute success, with 2 healthy babies. A male and a female were safely delivered that night, and the mother looked like she was making a full recovery. David and Julie sat down on the grass again, each holding a baby. They thought their job was done, but before long they were in for an amazing surprise. In the dizzying stillness after the birth of the twins, The cow pushes her babies away in a very strange way when they tried to approach her. Julie thought she might want to suckle her, but the cow stayed in the same position as when she was giving birth. She appeared to be in distress, which was very confusing considering how well the births had gone. David put the calves aside and went over to the mother to examine her. What he then saw shocked him deeply. David leaned over to see what was going on, and then he noticed that the cow was ready to give another birth. He screamed to get his wife's attention. Then they got to work. The man quickly put on new gloves while the cow cried and whimpered in pain. Julie also moved to support and comfort the cow. Completely shocked, the couple put their cow through a third birth, and David and Julie cheered. David couldn't help but keep yelling triplets and alerted all neighbors. But the story doesn't end there. In an amazing twist, the cow wasn't done giving birth. Through euphoric tears and exclamations of joy, David and Julie helped deliver a fourth baby. The probability that a cow will give birth to triplets is about 1 in 10,000, and the chances of having quadruplets were again significantly lower. It was with great relief that David and Julie saw their cow finally fall into a peaceful slumber. After the birth of the fourth baby, the mother should make a full recovery, and the farm family grew by 4 members in a single night. Thanks for watching, and if you like the story, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for free.